We are live! Hello, everyone. Welcome to SHO Tell, the bwaySHO Podcast BPN Launch Party. What? And it looks like we lost someone. You know, Drew will come back. This is just fun. This is free flowing. Whatever happens, happens. Oh, wonderful. I hope everyone at home is doing well. We have been having a blast backstage. And, you know, I was going to start with introing everyone. Y'all know Drew. We'll get to him in a minute. So going around, we've got Kimberly Marable, Fergie L, Philippe, L Morgan Lee. We love them. Hello. And we will be all on screen the whole time, unless if someone dips out like Drew, and that's totally fine. Oh, fabulous. You know, this is perfect. So I am going to take a moment here. It's going to be a fun, great show, but we're also going to take a moment and recognize that 1 year ago today, George Floyd was murdered, and that can't go without saying, and that real reform needs to happen. So we're going to have a moment of silence here. If everyone can join in and think, take a moment. It's been a whole year of a lot of thinking about how the justice system needs to change, and we need real reform, and we also need real reform on Broadway and in theater, and making sure that theaters are an equitable place, that it's a safe space, that we have real anti-racism, anti-transphobia, anti-ableism work being done, because it's exciting that Broadway is coming back and we have dates and maybe more announcements, who's to say, but really we can't go back. We must move forward.
Absolutely. Yes. Amen.
Amazing. Yeah. Thank you. So on that note, we are, it's a hard thing to transition from such a heavy moment and then go back to excitement. But I feel like that's kind of what this year has been with the pandemic and, all these things happening. And Drew, who's not here, but had a show that was coming up, and then that got, postponed, and we'll see. Oh, all right. I'm like, I want to get started, but I also want to wait for him. Oh, what is this? Wait for it.
Hey!
Right at the beginning. And it might happen again. I don't know what happened. I have no idea what happened. What I missed?
Technology.
You missed the moment.
My show. I'm Drew. Hi, everybody. Welcome to my show. I'm happy everybody's here listening. I'm sure it's been riveting so far.
Thank you. Yes, it's been
fantastic.
Thrilling. The reason I especially wanted Drew here for this next part was because I think you'll get a kick out of it. So let's get started.
Show and tell.
That theme song is epic.
That's it.
Alex Reitman has been fired from Broadway forever because of this.
I hope you enjoyed that. Yes. So, show and tell, the name of the game. We will be going around and everyone will be showing us an item from a musical or play production that they've been in, and then we'll go from there. So let's get started. Fergie L, Philippe, what do you got?
Hello. I thought like really long and hard about my specific like show and tell item, like from a show, which is so funny because I don't really have anything from like a show that I've done, but what I kind of ended up interpreting it as, hopefully it's okay that I made it malleable.
Totally.
I think we can all speak. I think we were talking earlier about this year has been so challenging for millions of reasons. And, for me, at the start of the pandemic, I had just made my Broadway debut. And about 6 weeks later, the pandemic hit. And what was insane about processing that with my therapist, therapy rocks, everybody do it. Processing that with my therapist was, how much I hadn't realized, and I'm sure every artist was dealing with this, how much I had not realized how much I tied myself to my art and how I didn't know myself without it. and figuring out who am I, minus that and the terrifying discovery that I'm a whole person without it. And I think that some of the things that artistically I decided to invest in, I purposefully made sure kind of had nothing to do with theater or anything like that. And so for me, anybody who knows me, and I'm sure SHO knows where this is going, but for me, it's been all about puppetry. I'm really big into the Jim Henson Company and Sesame Street. That's like really like my jam, and that's really what I work on a lot. And so I bought a puppet. I bought like a really professionally well-made puppet from Brooklyn Puppet Conservatory. And the reason that I picked this one was because I, in all honesty, during like the beginning part of the pandemic, I had a lot of resistance to listening to anything Hamilton, or when it came out on Disney Plus, I was very much like, I'm not watching that. Like I had a lot of resistance to it because I was bitter that I couldn't go to work every day. But really going through this love that I have with puppetry has reinvigorated how much I love being in the show. In a way that I really didn't expect to see that connection, but doing this puppetry has made me more excited to go back to work, because now I'm going back to work as a job. I'm not going back to work looking for myself or looking for my identity. You know what I mean? I can separate myself from my work, and that freedom is something that is like the biggest blessing, in a year that's been so challenging and heartbreaking and, traumatic in a lot of ways. That being a blessing that I got out of this is something that I cannot ever stop being thankful for. So this is, I haven't directly named it yet, but this is Sammy that I've come up with for now. He's not any kind of specific, he's not any kind of specific animal, but you can see what he looks like right here. Yeah, but this is Sammy. Hi guys.
Oh my God!
Hi, Sammy.
He's so cute, isn't he?
Yeah.
I'm very cute. I'm very
this is perfect.
I like
But
that
yeah,
tall
this is so-
hair that he's got going on.
Listen, he came back from the salon and made sure that everyone knew it's moisturized,
Yes.
filled with cocoa butter, okay?
Cocoa and
But
My
spinach.
gosh,
But
I love
Sammy,
him.
I love him too. I love him very, very much. I play with him, I say, every single day. And it's been exciting to be a student again. It's been really exciting to learn something. It's been really exciting to kind of dive into. It's been really exciting to be bad at something and watch myself grow. Like it has been really fun to go on that journey and
Hell
to challenge
yeah.
myself, get angry at myself because I'm not getting it right, and then come back 30 minutes later and go, well, if you just do this, it'll be better. That's funny. I don't know. That's kind of the fun thing about this thing too, is that I don't know what Sammy's voice sounds like. I'm still playing with like 5 different things. Right now, he just sounds like me because that's all I'm finding right now. And that's another thing, is that, so much of theater can feel like boom, 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 rush, 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 especially when you're living in New York City. And I've really forced myself with puppetry to be like, you're taking this slow. You're really going to take your time with this. You're really going to grind it in a way that is not about rushing a product, but instead about finding artistry. And it's hard. And that's part of the many conversations we're having about what does it mean to be within an equitable space in the theater when we're not racing towards a capitalistic product, but instead we're finding artistry within it. And obviously that's very a nuanced conversation that has a lot of things to it, but it's been really great to be able to have that in my life, and something that I would even say I'm probably a little bit more passionate about than theater, while simultaneously, moving forward towards coming back to work. So yeah, that was my show and tell.
I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Did it help in those early days of quarantine to have a friend? Because I caught myself being like, isn't that right, Drew? Yeah, Drew, shut up, Drew.
Yes, I was psychologically losing my mind and decided to channel it.
I think that was perfect.
But
All the
what's
best
interesting, and I think I told
geniuses.
SHO this. Yeah, exactly. Everyone who's ever like been successful with this, that's how it started.
Yeah.
But I told SHO this, that this is where it started for me. Like, you know, puppets really that's really where it all came from, and the fact that it kind of transitioned into theater is just insane.
And how perfect that it helps transition also with the network, because you've got a podcast. It's time to meet the Muppets.
Yes. Oh my God, that great theme song written by Ben Kaplan, man. Oh my gosh, shout out to Ben.
Love it.
Yes, my own
Ben
podcast
Kaplan.
with Broadway Podcast Network. Love my show. Love Broadway Podcast Network. I do. It's time to meet the Muppets. It is a Muppet Show recap podcast where basically every other week we go in as close to chronological order as possible through all the episodes of the Muppet Show, and I basically give all the fun facts that live in my brain for no reason, and I'm able to finally have a healthy place to spout them out instead of like first dates and like, you know, when I'm on, you know, trying to network with people and people are like, what do you mean?
If you lose them with the Muppet talk on the first date, they weren't worth the time in the first place.
It's true. That's a legitimate first date rule of mine. So it's true. If I lose them with Muppets, it ain't for me.
Yeah, you might want to say something just in case they find the puppet.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And they're like, excuse me.
Can you talk
What
about
is this?
Yes.
What is this? And why is it right next to your bed?
That's anyway. Yes, that's
Yeah. But it's been a fun podcast. We just started back in March, I want to say, is when I released the first episode. I just released an episode last Friday where we had our first guest appearance, my good friend Noel McNeil. If anybody has watched Bear in the Big Blue House, the guy that played Bear, Noel came through and we talked about about his experience working with the original Muppet guys, because Noel has been working in the puppetry field in Sesame Street since the 1980s. So he's been working with all the icons.
Out right now.
I geek out every time I speak to him.
Oh my God,
I'm
crazy.
geeking out.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's so insane. Remember that shit? He sings to the moon or whatever at the end.
Just
It's
like
oh, beautiful.
It's
I
amazing.
love that show. Bear in the Big
It's amazing.
Blue House. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
He's the best. So we had I had my first interview with him the other day, and we had a lot of fun just talking about. And that's the whole point of this podcast, is that it's really talking about the minutia of everything involved with the Muppets and Sesame Street, because it's really easy to kind of look at that stuff, or at least I can assume that it's really easy to look at that stuff and go, oh, it's, you know, really fun, funny, silly kind of stuff. But I don't think people really consider how much hard work went into making the Muppet Show, what goes into making Sesame Street, especially from the puppeteering side. And it's really such craftsmanship. And that was kind of where I first learned about and had an admiration for craftsmanship and understanding wow, these people worked for years on their technique and their skill. The writers of this show really understand the breakdown of comedy. They really understand how characterization works. They understand how the two flows together. The artistry that the designers and the workshop builders make on these puppets and on the sets and the costume. Yes. It's just such a big effort, and I really love getting into like the nitty gritty of it. So
and the music, dude, the music. Oh my God,
100%.
Come on. Bro, I gotta
Paul Williams
podcast. This is it. This is what's up.
This is turning into the Muppets podcast, and I love it.
It is. I'm so sorry.
Nope, this is.
I'm chiming. I got so excited about the Muppets, I started chiming in. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
This is why I have
exactly
everyone
why
on
I
stage.
do it. Yeah, this is exactly why I do it. I think everybody has the capacity within them to get to that place, especially with Muppets and Sesame Street. And I know for me, you know, I really needed escapism. I really needed to be able to, you know, have, you know, lighthearted, fun, joy. And the Muppets have been a constant source, along with, you know, my puppetry training. It's usually something that I go to for comfort. And when I speak to people about puppets, the moment that I bring this guy out, everybody is always like, you know what I mean? Like everyone turns 5 years old. Kermit Flail. Everyone turns 5 years old. It's something that's genuinely, what's the term that I'm looking for? It's vital in us. It's something that we can really connect to really easily. Like, you know, psychologically, we have such a deep connection to a lot of these characters, which is part of the reason Sesame Street is so successful, is because there's something about the combination of the color, the fur, the different materials, the characterizations, the writing, and the music all together that helps us click into something that is beyond what we naturally comprehend in everyday life. And that, to me, is not only exciting, but it's really interesting to kind of dig through and talk about, because how people get to that place in the creative standpoint is really insane. So yeah, everything I'm saying right now, that's all my podcast. It's just me.
Fergie, we gotta hang. Catherine, make a note. I need his email address. Thank you, Catherine.
Catherine.
There's no Catherine. I'm talking to a lamp right now.
Oh my God.
I'm so into it.
The assistant.
Fergie, I built a Muppet a few months ago for my nephew's birthday. I'm not even kidding.
Oh my God.
I'm serious. This is gonna be an aside because we got a show to do here. But I really got to talk to you, man.
Yeah, man. Well, I'll have you on the I'll have everybody on the podcast. Everyone come through.
Yeah.
Please do.
So cool.
All right, y'all. Well, if you want to hear more about the Muppets and Fergie and all of this wealth of knowledge, go check out It's Time to Meet the Muppets and listen to our episode of bwaySHO the podcast. Bow, bow, bow. So we will get chatting more about that later. We are going to transition to another Muppet lover here. We have a special message.
Hey, Joey Canis here from a rehearsal studio, which is so exciting. And I just want to say congratulations to bwaySHO for joining the Broadway Podcast Network. I wish that I could be there, celebrating in real time, but instead I'm like sending a video along. And I look forward to being with you in person. But podcasts are like for the internet, so I wouldn't be like seeing the podcast in person, but I look forward to listening to the podcast in the room with you, which is a weird thing to say. Anyway, fucking congratulations.
That was the most Joe Icona shit of all time. All time.
I love it. I'm so excited. I have tickets to see Two-Player Game with him and George Salazar at 54 Below. First night, 54 Below is back. Oh, so excited.
Nice. Oh, wow.
And on with the show, Elle Morgan, tell us about your show and tell item.
I don't have a wonderful sort of diatribe to get me into it the way Fergie did. But I could, well, first of all, I couldn't decide. I had two different things. And so I'll start with the first one, which was this from when this was our opening night gift on A Strange Loop. And it's one of those Squigs portraits that like I sort of secretly always dreamed of having. So to walk into our dressing room opening night and to see this sitting there from our producer was like I legit like broke down crying and like taking pictures and videos and like to have just sort of all of us in our own little, and like he did such a great job of sort of capturing our essences. Yeah, so I loved it. This was the first little piece. And then the second is this piece of jewelry that from the same dressing room that just sort of sat in my dressing room almost the whole run, that there was never really a reason to have it or wear it, except for Dottie Peterson, who was my hair, and she was my hair person who turned also into my makeup person because she is a makeup artist. So she would like totally help me out during the shows. She had a bag full of costume jewelry that she just brought because on opening night, everyone was looking for like little things to sort of accentuate their outfits. And so this just sort of stayed in my dressing room the entire time. And as we got to the end of the run, Dottie was like, you can have that, you know? And I was like, oh my God, of course I'm going to take it. So I love this piece. I worn it in a picture, but it's just something that lives with me kind of constantly, and it's beautiful. So it's my show and tell.
Show it to the man.
Oh yeah, we can.
Green.
Ooh, it's so beautiful.
Yeah, the jewels are like very.
I like it.
Yeah. I know, getting the screen.
Yeah, it's like because it spreads across. Like it's really great if there's like I mean, I guess it's nice actually when there's material under it. I sort of like it over skin the most. Just the more skin, the better with this, as far as I'm concerned. There was also a moment where I was thinking of like that moment with it.
Yeah.
That could be a thing. Like there's lots of, it can do lots of things. So I was like, this is great. So thank you, Dottie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I love
Ooh,
that.
I love it.
I love that.
Very, very cool.
Easy breezy pieces. I was like, no long conversation about them, but just simple.
Yeah.
Easy Breezy Pieces is the name of Al Morgan's memoir coming out next week as well. So everyone look out for that.
I might need more than a week to put that together. There's lots of shifts.
No, memoirs are so easy. You just like come up with the idea. You already have the title. Come on now.
Yeah,
But
so
it's
you
one
hire
long
a
voice memo.
ghostwriter. It's one long voice memo, exactly.
It's just a voice memo for 3 hours, and then you send it to the publisher. That's it.
Yeah. They'll type it up.
Actually, that's not a bad idea.
I would say that's actually not a bad idea.
Talk about this. This is chapter 2.
Mhm.
This is chapter 2.
Wait, this is so great. We're making connections here. We're coming up with book ideas and
Memoirs.
ways to film it. Come on now.
Easy
Love
breezy
it.
pieces.
I love that,
So cool.
that you got squigs.
Good night. Good night, Kimberly.
This has been fun now.
Yeah, the squigs poster is super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I
it
just got
was-
emotional looking at that. I can only imagine, especially for a show like Strange Loop. Look at me going off about to make this, into a whole thing again. But Strange Loop, like what it represents in the zeitgeist of theater, to have that really iconic piece of artwork within, Broadway history. I mean, I can only imagine the emotions that were running through you.
Yeah.
It was a lot. And it sort of hit me out of the blue because we were just excited about the day itself. So then to get there and sort of just have the envelopes and to open it and for that to come out, I was like, it just sort of exploded. And then of course, then I had to walked around the corner to go to the other dressing rooms to see how they were responding. And like, it was about the same. Everyone was just like, oh my God. I don't think that our producer actually, realized how deeply it would hit all of us. So I think there was sort of this really awkward, like each of us going up to her being like, oh my God, Barbara, this was so, and she's like, oh, okay, well, you're welcome. I'm so glad that you liked it. I don't think that I don't think it really rung to her sort of.
She's like, I do this every show.
I know, she's like, I know, this is fine.
Oh, wow.
But it was
Man,
particularly special. Yeah.
That show needs Alex Brightman and I were just talking the other day about this show in particular. Alex Bright, he's a big nobody. He's a two-time Tony loser. Nobody knows who he is. Anyway, we were talking about this show, Strange Loop, and Michael Jackson's just a genius, and the accolades it got for what it did off Broadway.
Mhm.
It would be absolute foolishness if that show does not get a Broadway life. It deserves a Broadway life, and then
100%.
The nicheness, but the universalness combined,
Sure.
bananas. Not even like the score. That's bop after bop after bop with hard hitting material. But you're like, yeah, for so much of it, that is hard hitting material. And
No,
if
it's like-
it doesn't go to- I'll say it here now. If it doesn't go to Broadway, I quit. I don't mean that to my producers who are listening. For the producers who are listening, I don't mean that. But I just want to emphasize, I really want it to go to Broadway. So I'm just going to say that.
It's funny because it's one of those shows where you get caught in the music in a way that you start to jam to the music, but you don't actually realize the lyrics that you're jamming to.
Yes.
And then you have to catch yourself going, wait a minute. What are we?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's like that, and that's always the most fun thing to watch that was like the most fun things to watch from the stage is like us just sort of going in on the lyric, just going, and then seeing the audience going, yes, yeah, oh, ooh, this is awkward. You probably shouldn't be like, or them like full on clapping and being into it, and someone looking at them like, how dare you?
Yeah.
There were definitely moments where I
everybody
was
in the cast is like, you don't get it.
Should I be laughing? Should I be clapping right now?
Yeah.
Like, I know
Oh
what
my
I'm seeing is amazing, but like, how am I supposed to respond? I think that was very common.
Yeah, and the permission to just let it be whatever that response is. It's like you need it. You need people to be. It's almost like one of those shows where when someone laughs, everyone else then has the permission to laugh. But it's like people don't know that it's okay, and once you learn that it's okay, it's just like, okay, no, go for it. Like people will take it different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love what you're saying about the permission.
Great show.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, fingers crossed. Who knows?
I'm sure it'll live another life. No doubt. I'm sure it will. It's remarkable.
Yes. And El Morgan, before we jump to the next show and tell item, we were talking earlier about the Danish girl that you were off in London doing. Talk about that.
I just got back, I think about 3 weeks ago, from London, doing a workshop of an adaptation of The Danish Girl, which it's crazy how it all even came together. Like it literally was like, I mean, much like I got Strange Loop. It was just in my DMs. Like the composer slid into my DM. Like, so what will you do for it now? But he said, if you can, are you interested in singing? I'm working on a project, and there's a song that I'd love to see if you would record. Are you interested? I'll send you the demo and just let me know what you think. No pressure. No, if you're too busy, just let me know. And I listened to the demo and like started sobbing. I mean, so this is also like, I'm also just a crier. So like I cry all the time. So for me, sobbing always has meaning, but like it is a constant. So I listened to this song. It was called Silk. And it just was, I responded with like, this is the kind of music I am made to sing. Like, this is literally like the type of rep that I'm supposed to be doing. And like for a Black woman to get to be even approached to sing it is like not something that happens, let alone a Black trans woman on top of that. Like, these are not things that they are not opportunities that are regularly presented. So I'd be like flattered to sing it. And then after we released the video, the team reached out to me and they were like, we've been sort of, thinking about this project, but we didn't actually want to truly begin until we found Lily. And we think that you are Lily. So we want to, if you're willing to go on this ride with us, we want to go. And then over this past year, we've just been on Zooms and conversations and like working through things. And there are like 4 or 5 different kind of consultants on the project who are helping them to make sure that the story is told in like the most authentic and truthful way, and the way that honors Lily Elba's legacy the most, which is so important. It's I've said before, it's literally an example of the potential that theater. It's an example of exactly like where theater has the potential to go. It's an example of the kind of stories that are able to be told when someone gets out of the way of their own preconceptions of things, because for so many reasons, like I am not the typical ask to play her. But the fact that I'm getting a chance to, I feel like it's a very much like it's a soul connection, it's a spirit connection, kind of a thing. It's like when actor and spirit meets the story, and like a lot of our stories are actually very strangely aligned in many ways. There are things about her that were not told in the film and that were not told in the book so much. One of those things being that she lived her life in the most authentic way for like 20 years before she even started any sort of medical work at all. So that was a big chunk that was not told in the film and not really told in the book, because I think there was also just an interest in sort of getting to the thick of it all. And what's beautiful about this team is that, for instance, the show opens in Paris, and Lily is there, amused for the artist, and is having, the time of her life. So the top of show, you always see that this is a woman who is having a certain experience. And it is very clear from the jump that, when Lily is presenting in a way that is not aligned with who she is, it feels a little awkward because there's a woman playing her. And I think that's something that we don't see often enough. And it's one of the things that I think that this team is really getting right, and that there are other people in the cast there are non-binary people, there are trans people, there are cis people, it's maybe the most diverse cast I have ever been a part of. And it wasn't done like for check marks. Like it wasn't done, like it's very clear that it wasn't done like because we need to have blah, blah, blah. It was very just like, these are the people that we needed in this moment. I know her, she's great. I know her, she's great. Let's get this person. They're fantastic. Let's put them in. And it's just like the workshop that we did. It was weird because also I kept forgetting that I was in London during the workshop process. Because we're so used to being in theater spaces, and it was like I was getting caught up in the fact that I was able to do a show again in a space, to be in a theater on a stage with the house there again, and then I would hear the accents in my ear, and I was like, oh right, I'm not in America, and actually I'm the one with the accent in this room. So like I'm hearing everyone else's voices, and it was just a really lovely experience, and I'm excited to kind of see what happens next. There's bunch of apparently there was interest in stuff in the presentation that we did, and people are buzzing a bit, and I'm just really like excited to kind of see where it goes. Yeah,
I will quit musical theater if this doesn't go to the West End or Broadway.
The stakes.
Drew's got a lot of
Drew
stakes
likes to
going
set
on
the
your
stakes
career.
high.
Get it out of the line, baby. Bring him back in here.
One step at a time.
Well, we are very excited. I love this. I definitely want to be able to see that. And, I love an English accent. I kind of do it whenever, but it's not, you're just over there. How's this? Is this not too shabby?
It's a very specific one, but yes.
Hello.
Very
That was
specific.
my Russian accent.
Good job.
Does anyone else want to take at it?
Not at Russian.
Gosh, no. Absolutely.
I will be keeping that one to you. Perfect. Well, thank you, Morgan. This is awesome.
Perfect. Yeah. I feel like SHO thought she was all by herself for 1 second. Perfect. Yes. Everything is going according to plan. Yes.
According to, yeah.
See, someone just that's the Russian accent.
Drew, you are a handful in the best way. It has been amazing.
I'm so sorry.
You're good.
What? I wouldn't ask you on this if I didn't love your energy.
Thanks.
Yes. But we will get to you in a moment because now we're going to talk to Kimberly.
Hey.
Let's see your show and tell item.
So, like El Morgan, I had two, and so I decided to wear one of them. This is a hat. In the West End, they apparently have this thing called stage faves. It's like audience participation. They vote for who their favorites are. And yes, and so when many of the Hadestown principals came from England to the States, they were like, we have to have a stage fave. So Amber Gray made these hats for all of us because after Andre, the legendary, prolific Andre DeShields won his Tony at 73 years old. Yes. He was honored by Actors Equity for some award. Something to the equivalent of like lifetime achievement for an actor, but like you're still at it, but a senior. And then they give an equivalent to someone who's a different generation. So we all came and supported him, and Amber made these hats, and we all wore the hats while he was there. But the the great thing about this hat and about Andre is that it reminds me that there is no time limit to your dreams.
Amen.
There also is nothing like being present in where you are.
Right.
Being in a show with a 73-year-old man is quite entertaining.
Especially when that man is Andre DeShields.
Yeah. Yes. And one of the earliest lessons that I learned from him, because sometimes the memory goes and he'll be saying some crazy things. It just keeps going. Like, it's amazing. He'll say, I don't know what, but you will never have known. If you didn't know this, if you were not like a Songbird Hadestown fanatic, you would never have known that he messed up the words. And he has the most to say. Like, that's the gotcha. He's the oldest. He's the senior, the mayor, however you want to put it. The granddaddy. Grandpappy.
Granddaddy. Grandpappy.
I remember seeing him, those gold Hermes shoes. Oh my goodness. Legendary.
Legendary. Yes. Yeah.
His entrance is the funniest thing on earth. There's nothing better than his entrance in that show.
No.
It never gets old.
And now that Hadestown's the first one back, is Andre
the best way to open up
Broadway?
Look,
that's the best way to open Broadway back up.
Seriously, just silence
agree.
As you hear clack, clack, clack.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Oh my God, that moment the first night is going to be sick.
It's going to be like the roof of that place is going to explode off the top.
Seriously, but I think also
get your ticket.
There will not be enough handkerchiefs. Like,
no.
We'll be crying. The audience will be crying. And this is before anybody dies. Like,
before the look back.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Sorry. I mean, you could just Google it. It's a pretty old story.
Yeah, it's an old story.
It's one of the most ancient ones.
Yeah. But I don't know that I'm prepared for the emotions of it all. Fergie, you were talking earlier about how crazy and challenging this time has been, and about not like wanting to distance yourself from theater, like right after the shutdown. And it's funny, I found myself in that same position, not because I don't like theater and not because it's not what I want to do, but I wanted to make sure I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to make sure that I'm singing because I like to, not because you want me to and you want me to, and you know. Mm-hmm. So I feel like I'm back in that place, which is great, and because of that, I'm excited to go back to performing on a regular basis. I'm not in this blanket hut and the microphone. Right. But yeah, I think
a blanket hut.
You have no idea, my friend. Seriously, the shutdown came, and by the end of March, early April, I was like, okay, so how am I going to pay her bills? And we made our own DIY plastic PVC pipe sound blanket voiceover booth.
Oh yeah, no shit! I just saw that's PVC. You really like have a
Home Depot and I were friends.
Home Depot canopy, yes.
Yeah,
it's true. It was necessary. The investments that needed to be made.
Truly,
like all of this podcast equipment that you're seeing.
Exactly.
Everyone became an engineer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hire me. I edit. I'm the way.
Don't
the
ask
way I know around Adobe. She said, "Not me. I'm not the one."
I'll just give you the raw files. You do your magic.
You build the setup. You put the PVC pipe together.
She's like, "Call me. I'll set it up for you.
I'll sell you the kit."
Plays their role here.
There's a whole team in this room that will get you right for whatever you need.
So, okay, this is actually a good segue into the next item because I just thought it was the strangest opening night gift, but kind of cool. Also for Hadestown, we got a hammer. Because we were workers in Hadestown.
I just wanted like in my purse. Just
As it like came to me.
Taking the subway, here's my Hadestown hammer.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yes.
Oh my God.
But, you know,
we're in New York City.
God love Patrick Page. So he got it engraved. So it
Oh my
says,
God.
I'm going to do my best Patrick Page voice.
Here we go.
Sorry. Okay. My children. Give them hell and Hades. Okay, I can't do it anymore. Okay. It says, my children, give him hell and Hades, love Patrick. And I thought it was so unique and heartfelt, actually, because everybody got a household tool.
Oh, so it wasn't all just hammers? Like some people got like
some people got different things, but I believe all the workers got hammers.
after you washed the blood and skull bits off of it, it was kind of a normal career if you think about it, right? No?
Yes, but this actually, in addition to, you know, why we build the wall and that's why we're his children and all that, it does make me think about being a worker and also to bring it back to all the things you were talking about earlier in terms of like the work that needs to be done in this industry. Like, it's a good, like, we still got stuff to do. We got things to hammer out, you know?
Yeah.
Thank you, Patrick Page.
Yeah, thank God he had that Home Depot gift certificate so he could get you guys all those tools.
Look, it's
Probably got it from In the Heights.
Right.
Did y'all see that? He's in the new In the Heights film. So good.
Patrick, yes, he is.
Patrick Pages?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's
It's
Usnavi, right?
I saw like
He
a
plays
sneak
Usnavi?
preview.
I was like, everyone had these sneak peeks.
But it
it's
comes
so
out.
It's like the whole
Let's up
business
on
saw this
Washington
movie.
Heights
I
up
got
at the
it.
break
I
of
haven't
dawn.
seen it yet either. But
Everybody's been posting about how they've seen the movie. Like, if y'all don't stop being so rude, not everybody can see this movie.
Right.
Everybody's
like,
on Twitter like, this movie is so good. What you like about it? I'm like, ain't no one seen it. Can you stop? No one has seen this movie.
It won't be long
missed the
now.
release.
My God.
It starts
Next month,
Tribeca, which I think is the 9th,
Yeah.
and then I think it goes out everywhere on the 11th. So
On the
you can
11th.
get your tickets then.
Including HBO Max. I think it goes out on HBO Max on the 11th or something like
Oh,
that.
damn,
So,
they're going to
That's
do
true.
the whole thing. Cool.
yeah,
I'm very excited for that movie.
yeah.
Same. Soup's excited.
Yeah,
I've been
Sam.
very patient.
It taped a mere few blocks away. They were.
Actually,
I
they
was
were
like, I know that bodega. I go there frequently.
I was like, they were right here on like 174th.
And I was there. This was one of the craziest experiences of my life. So New York City. My friend Gigi and I went up to In the Heights and we saw them film the opening number. And so as they are filming, as Anthony Ramos is like coming out of the bodega and like they have this huge dance number, we are watching them do all the takes. And as if that weren't cool enough, Lin-Manuel Miranda was standing right with us, watches Anthony Ramos crush it, is like, what? Runs over to him and they like embrace and they have this moment. I'm like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
That is
And
beautiful.
you're just like,
Oh my god.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
What? Me? The camera? Well, video? So actually
that's
funny
so
because
funny.
there were people who were like filming them do that. And everyone was going over like, you know, stop filming this. And then you can see it when it's in theaters. But like, you know, everyone got like a little bit. And I really wanted to film. And I did. I didn't film that moment, but it lives right here. But I did get a really cool photo with Lynn. And I post it like every year. It was 2019. What is time? Jeremy, Jeremy.
1 year. Yeah.
It's enough to be every year.
I'm just gonna post it randomly, and people will see it. And yeah, it was pretty cool.
Wow. That's great.
Thank you.
We love
I just
when
like
New
to
York
share
Films
that story.
project. Oh my gosh, that's great. Those gifts are great, Kim. I love those. Those were so fun.
Thank you. Yeah, I hope to be that creative in future.
Right.
Like this is a keeper. Everybody needs a hammer.
Hammer.
True that.
Use that
Functional
forever.
and thoughtful.
A functional gift. I love a functional gift.
I like that quote. Functional and thoughtful.
You heard it here, folks. You know, when I came up with this idea for show and tell, it was because it's a pun, and I love a good pun. I mean, y'all have all been on the Show Must Go Online. There's Showtime, Showbiz. I mean, all the social media.
Oh God! Damn it! Jumping Jehoshaphat with that
So much
one.
pride in all of them. Oh my God.
They're just nonstop. But thank you, Fergie. I just needed a reaction, and that was perfect. Did you know I like Hamilton?
Nope. I thought you disliked it greatly.
Truly, I mean, I can barely talk about it at all.
Yes.
I'm looking. I actually have. Where is it? Where is it now? I wasn't planning on doing a show and tell part and just have y'all be talking the whole time, but I have a little thing that's
What's yours?
Nope. It's somewhere. We'll find it.
It's going great.
My mind is just coming up with all the things that it could be.
I would have been like, I wanted to show everybody this hammer and this puppet and this necklace. It's like, what?
I have a replica of everything.
It's a multifunctional tool.
You can wear it here. You can get a nail out.
It's a Swiss Army knife of gifts.
Well,
Oh my God!
this army knife.
Hilarious.
Yeah, I'm like, hold on, is it right here?
All of our gifts. She somehow got
It's
out.
like, I have the squeak.
Yeah. How'd you get that? And yours is missing. It's like, how did she get these?
You're going through your house like, where is my thing?
Oh my God!
So, it's unfortunately not that, but it is this really cool Hamilton star with Lynn on it.
Oh, that's hilarious. Is that the like squishy stars, the like stress ball stars? Oh my God.
Nice.
Got it.
Right?
He's like, what?
It's from T
That's
Rico. Shout out T Rico.
Fantastic. Oh, T Rico. That's hilarious.
So now you got a little show and tell. But
Wow.
to round out the show and tell, Drew, show us what you got.
Well, listen, it's kind of a perfect segue from the Lin-Manuelness of it all because I was just going to show a little keepsake that I have laminated. And when the announcement went out that I was composing the score for the Broadway-bound adaptation of Karate Kid, which, God, I wish I could say so much more about it, dates and all those stuff, because I got all the information and I'm not allowed to say anything about it. So just know that it's coming. I develop a hemorrhoid every day. I can't say anything. The stress that I hold within inside of me.
You should see someone. That's a lot of hemorrhoids.
It seems like really dangerous.
I got a cream. I got an ointment.
Okay, good. Preparation H.
So I got that. Yeah, no, mine's preparation HJI. It keeps going. It's horrifying. I got an email here, and I'm gonna not show the email address.
Fair.
But I don't know if you can read what that says.
That's so dope.
That's so
Congratulations,
dope.
Maestro. Siempre.
Wow.
Manuel.
Lin-Manuel. Out of the blue, I got that from him. So I also have two, by the way. I wanted to show that because we were talking about Lin-Manuel. I literally had it right up here, and I totally fucking forgot about it. So that's one. Number two.
Perfect.
About 2 years ago, I did a lot of drugs in my 20s, and I forget what time is. But now here I am in my 30s trying to figure it out. Speaking of drugs, this whole experience felt like I was tripping. I wrote this guy. Skittles
did?
commercial, Broadway musical.
My
That's
partner
right.
was in that.
No way, who?
Melvin Abston.
I love Melvin!
Me too.
My God!
I'll tell you for
too. My God, I love Melvin. But this experience was such a trip for me for so many reasons, and I talk about this on my podcast as well. Wink, wink to whatever you're gonna plug at the end of this. But I got this job, and then the very next week I booked Karate Kid. And when we were casting the Skittles commercial Fever Dream, I was looking at the cast list, and it was a bunch of people I honestly had nothing to do with. It was through people, and I was, I had the singers I had, and they sang the score, and everybody was fantastic and amazing. But I saw a name, and it was Julia Macchio, and I said, Macchio, like Ralph Macchio, who played Daniel in the original movies of all the Karate Kid and in Cobra Kai currently on Netflix. So I went up to her on the first day of rehearsal. I go, your dad, and I knew when I looked at her because she looks just like him. Your dad doesn't happen to be Ralph Macchio. She goes, yeah, that's my dad. I go, I just got hired to write Karate Kid like 5 days ago. And the two things had nothing to do with each other. It was just complete happenstance that she was a part of this thing that like right after I found out I was gonna, somehow carry on this legacy that her father basically helped create. So it was a really interesting experience. They only made like a handful of these vinyls, and I'm really psyched that I got one because I can't believe we had 5 weeks to write and costume and rehearse and the whole thing, and we made a motherfucking cast album, and I can't believe that we did all of that in the span of 5 weeks. I didn't sleep, and I thought I was on peyote for about all 5 of those weeks. It was a really insane trip. Drew's podcast is basically a contest to see how many times he can say the F word in a single episode. Says Brittany Bigelow of the Broadway Podcast Network. Lord knows she's listening. To be fair, it's not entirely true. We just are very casual with how we're talking. No one's trying to outfuck the other person. Catherine, make a note. Less fucks in the next episode. Thank you.
Thanks, Catherine.
Why is Catherine working at 9 p.m.? Why are you making Catherine work at 9 p.m.? That's
she
terrible.
Gets great overtime. That's why she gets great. You're talking to the guy who wrote this masterpiece. I've got money to pay all the Catherines in the world.
That's great. That's all we're asking for these days. That's exactly the fight we're on right now in this Broadway world. We're trying to just get people paid.
Ain't that the truth? Ain't that
for the
right?
overtime. So you're part of the solution. Go ahead. Congrats. Yes.
So anyway, those are my shows and my tells, and that's what I got to say about all that.
I have to say, I missed Skittles because I was doing a show, but I was so excited that it was happening because I love to eat Skittles. So that's cool that you did that.
Very important.
And I'm equally excited about Karate Kid.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Oh my God. That's so exciting.
Thanks. I try to say it as truthfully as I can. It's like when I was offered the job, I said no because that sounds so stupid to me. Honest to God, this team and everybody we're working with, Amon Miyamoto, this Japanese visionary director, he's so tremendous, and the whole team at Gorgeous Entertainment, they're all Okinawan and Japanese, and we have Keone and Mari. I don't know if you guys know them. They're choreographers. They're doing Once Upon a One More Time. They're tremendous. Yeah. This team of people are truly, I mean this without trying, I'm trying not to sound biased because I know I'm writing the score for it, but like, I've been watching these clips because during this time, this off time when, I'm trying to reassess my career choices, perhaps, our producers were making sure that we were working because they were so diligent and making sure that we had hope that we were going to come back. And it was really promising. And then we got to see some clips of what the choreographers were putting together. And I shit my pants. I shit in my pants. In fact, that's the log line. Karate Kid. You'll shit your pants. I really do mean this. It will defy whatever your expectation of a Karate Kid musical will look and sound like. I really think we're going hard. We're going so hard on this one. I'm pumped for everybody to see it. So pumped.
That's great.
I'm excited for the martial arts.
Oh, yeah. Man, me too. It's so I can't say it.
It's really cool.
I love how excited you are. It makes me very excited too.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
My
Contagious.
gosh.
Now I totally want to see that so badly, as well as all things with it's kind of a funny story, which I loved seeing when 54 Below played the little video, or actually the full thing.
Thanks.
That was so cool. That was awesome that 54 Below at home did that, and we got to see that with the whole cast and crew and you and Alex Brightman and the whole thing. Do we have any updates on that that you're allowed to talk about?
We do. We just found all this out because the world's just opened its eyes back up. So I can't really say dates or anything, but we're working with a major theater in Melbourne, New Jersey. I can't say who it is, but if that doesn't give it away,
more hemorrhoids. Just so many more hemorrhoids.
Just developing like.
This is a half hemorrhoid because we figured that one out.
Yeah, Catherine, double up on the prep H. Thank you, dear. But we're doing our 4-week lab for Karate Kid in the fall, that I can say, and then immediately after that, we're doing a 2-week lab for It's Kind of a Funny Story with Universal. Wow. And a brand new director, brand new cast, a lot of new songs, and I don't know if Broadway's the goal or the objective for everybody, but I hope it gets there one day. And with this theater behind us, I think we're going to have a really good reception to it. And it's very not exactly what this theater typically does. And I think they're doing that on purpose to kind of bring light to some of these taboo issues that the show talks about. So I'm really, really excited for these next steps of development.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Also, it sounds like you're handling that a lot more healthily than the way that you're talking about El Morgan's productions. Like, if it doesn't get to Broadway, like, that's okay. It'll go somewhere else.
Oh, no. If these don't go to Broadway, I will go back to working at Old Navy, I think is the last thing I did before I was doing this shit.
Hey, that sounds like a great job. I don't know. There's probably
it's a true story. Little quick Old Navy story for all the Old Navy fans.
Is it kind of a funny story?
It is kind of a funny story. It's also depressing. So I worked at Old Navy, and they're like, listen, we don't really have, I just needed a job. And they said, we need someone for the warehouse in the back of the store. Can you drive a forklift? We're desperate to find somebody. I was like, hell yeah, I can drive a forklift. And I'm not kidding. I'm looking that way, and I'm going this. All right, that way. And I backed into a mountain of boxes. And the manager's right out of his mouth. He's like, "Are you an idiot?" Is how he said. So that's when I made the decision. I think musical theater is where I need to land.
This is where I'm meant to be.
Isn't there some kind of specific permit that you need for forklift operating?
Yes. You have to have a certain kind of license, I believe. But they didn't check. I just lie your way to the top, kids. That's another lesson to learn here. Just fudge that resume until you get your dreams coming true, baby. I always wanted to be a forklift driver, and I'll be damned if I wasn't.
It's 2021. I applied for a job at Home Depot, and they said, "Hey, can you drive a blah blah blah?" I said, "I sure can."
You sure can.
Had no permits, had no nothing. They hired me. I didn't take a job. I was just like, "Hey, they obviously just need somebody. They needed somebody real bad."
And while you were there, you saw Kimberly walking out with a bunch of PVC pipe, and she's like, "Hey,
PVC pipes," and I was like, "Hey, I see you. I support you."
And then you saw Patrick Page leaving with a giant sack of tools. He's like, "These will be for my cats."
And I went, I thought you did that a year ago.
He hands them out to people on the street. He's giving
on the street. It's like his thing. That's like what he.
You get a hammer. You get a hammer.
Then, I know it's been a very hard year for you. We're all really pulling through. Here's a hammer. Please.
We're gonna hammer it out.
We're gonna hammer it out together.
Oh my God!
Woo!
Wow.
Well, if you like Drew's energy, you can hear more and keep up with him on his podcast. Now we're talking with Drew Gasparini.
Yeah. Oh, look, they got a thing.
So fancy. And you can hear our conversation from The Show Must Go On line tomorrow on the Broadway podcast app. What? So cool.
Woo!
Oh. So exciting. I know. This is just so everyone here has been on the Show Must Go Online, which we are having our final episode on Thursday with the lovely Kelly and Miguel Cervantes, 5:00 Eastern time. Tune in.
Yes.
Wait, your final episode?
My final, okay, so this is actually a good platform to let everyone know what's going on. So I'm returning to the greatest city in the world, to the greatest city in the world. All right,
Cleveland.
Cleveland, exactly.
Do I
Where
remember
all of the
choreo?
greatest
Who
theater
knows?
is. And I will be there shortly. What? Just you wait. I'm just going to see how many Hamilton references I can. It's really...
Come on.
I don't mean to. Honestly, it's
Come on.
just
We
a way
will
of
never be satisfied. Okay.
Okay. Just helpless. Oh. Oh, that's so weird. We lost Fergie just out of nowhere. What?
Don't you remember when someone said that they've tried to avoid that?
I'm so sorry, Fergie. I will be more respectful. I thought that now that Broadway is coming back, we can talk about
This is re-triggering me into everything I've worked on in my therapy.
Man, I wish to hell that you came back and it was the puppet instead. I
And
just
it was
wish
just
to hell.
Sammy. And Sammy's like, he was tired of your shit. He will not be back.
Oh, there it is. Thank you, Fergie. Well, if you love all of these references and more, stay tuned for bwaySHO, the podcast. Cast. Yeah, subscribe, listen below. You can subscribe, rate, and review. And on Apple Podcasts, that's pretty cool. Because as these podcasters know, like you should listen on the BPN app, faux show.
Yes.
But you should also subscribe, rate, and review on
Yes.
Apple Podcasts. Get those numbers up.
Yeah.
Yes. But we will also be doing in-person interviews again. So even though Show Must Go Online is going to have its final performance, the curtain will rise once again when I'm back in New York. So just you wait.
Love it. Very cool.
And
love it.
on that, I'm going to shout out the Showtrions and the Show Squad. I got a bunch of people here. Judy, hello. I see so many. Ashley, Jody, Judy, Julie. We have a lot of J's. John. It's not a requirement, but it is very helpful apparently with our trivia team. We do trivia every Wednesday, which honestly, just as a quick little, as we're rounding out on time here, I see, it's so exciting. We've had this trivia team and we are awesome at it, obviously. It's trivia, it's virtual, it's much better in person, I think, but this has been such a good way to like spend quarantine. Everyone's like by themselves and there have been some sad times, but having this really great support showport group, that might be pushing it. But
Oh.
thank you. Well, swing and a miss. So that's been really great. And the showport has really been next level. So if you just love all these show puns and you're not tired of them, join us at patreon.com/bwaySHO. You get exclusive access to things. You get to know stuff before the rest of the world. And it's pretty cool. Come check it out. Any last words that anyone came in here today wanting to share with the world, to all of your fans?
I have to say, my throat hurts from.
Save
I
the
have
gift.
laughed so much. Thank you all. I didn't even realize how much I needed this. This was fabulous. It was a lovely pleasure to meet all of you, to connect with all of you, to see you again, show. Blessings to everyone. Stay safe, stay loving, stay healthy, stay here. Truly, thank you all. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you
Couldn't
for
have
the
said
show.
that better.
Yeah.
The show port.
The show.
So nominal.
I hate that the most. That's my least favorite one I've heard tonight. Show port.
Yeah. I think it's time because I have to show. All right.
You have to show.
It was
It's
to
okay.
go.
You tried that one.
everyone can keep
Not
trying.
everybody can be as clever. Okay.
It's a gift for some
It's
people.
a gift.
I'm not on every one of these episodes, so make sure to tune in because they're going to be better than this one. I promise. and if you don't, I will quit podcasting. I'll stay right here.
I'll tell you what, we just need to put Drew on the front lines for any issue we have because he said, I will give it all up. I don't need any of this.
I'm just concerned for his blood pressure.
Oh my God. Well, on that note, y'all are just fabulous. I appreciate you making me laugh so hard. Oh, good. Judy says, shove off.
Shove off. Oh, yes, Judy.
That was good.
Yes.
Shove off.
Oh, obsessed. Y'all can find all the stuff and more at bwaySHO. That's bwaySHO. Like Broadway, Shoshana.
Ah.
And bwaySHO podcast. Why don't we go around and have everyone say where they can find you on social media?
Oh my God.
Or should it be social media? It should be social media.
Social media. Yeah, social media. There we go. Because that show media, I was like, this show media, I was like, that my tongue hurts. Please.
It's a lot.
You can find me at Fergsters95. That's FERGSTERS and what? N 95. You know, and now it's time for me to go to bed. 95. That's on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And then if you want to follow the Meet the Muppets podcast, you can follow it at Meet the Muppets Pod on Instagram only.
L. Morgan.
You can find me on Instagram at LMorganLee, LMorganLee, and Twitter, LMorgan_Lee.
Gotta get that underscore.
Yes.
Couldn't get my name.
Kimberly.
Wouldn't let you.
Very cool. I was actually on the side you pointed to. Okay, so you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Miss Kim Izzo, like H to the Izzo, but no.
Hey.
Yes.
I love that.
Oh, and I didn't talk about it, but we'll talk about it another time when we all come back. You can also follow bwayServes.
Yes. I'm so glad you brought that up because I was going to talk about it. Give us a quick plug for that, please.
So Broadway Serves is essentially an opportunity for theater professionals to engage in community service. Yes. We've been sort of on a hybrid situation, more virtual, but we do have some in-person things in the works. And it's just a nice way to remember your humanity as well as your artistry. So, follow us on the IG and find out what we're up to.
They're doing fantastic work. I did a lot of stuff with Broadway Serves when I was on tour. I love that organization. I love Dion Figs. I mean, it's a great organization. So please follow the work that they're doing because it really is amazing.
That's awesome. That's so awesome.
Thanks for sharing that.
Cool. Yeah.
All right.
Evans. You can find me on Instagram at Sammy the Muppet _ You can find me on Twitter.
Now I gotta go and get. Now
you gotta do it. You gotta snap it before
I gotta go get a patent. I get a patent because of you.
Trademark.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Drew Gasparini. I'm also on TikTok, but I don't really know how to fart around with that app yet. You can also check out Now We're Talking with Drew Gasparini. It's on the Broadway Podcast Network. We are on episode 22 of a 25-episode season, so we're about to finish up in June, and then we're going to be coming back in September for season 2. So a lot of great guests, and it's a lot of fun. And then obviously stay posted for everything Karate Kid, and it's kind of a funny story and everything else I got going on. So just, keep in touch, kids.
So many exciting things for
I shouldn't have ended with the 2 words kids. Let me go back. Let me say it again.
You said it.
Keep in touch. Keep in touch, all you crazy cool people. All right. Good night, everybody. I need to go to bed.
Thanks, Drew. Well, y'all can find me. I said bwaySHO, but you can also find me bwaySHO.com for all of your needs, all on a nice little thing. And Slimbo, my adorable pup, who does make a guest star usually as my co-star, who's just the cutest little thing. It's such a nice day out. He's actually sitting outside. So you didn't hear him barking today, but you can find him on bwaySHO, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. Those are all social media.
This chord progression.
I'm like, okay, what?
Facebook, YouTube,
Wouldn't that be so
too.
cool if they
I was
all
here
just
for it.
popped up? Well, I thank y'all so much for coming on, for chatting, making me laugh so hard. This was therapeutic. I appreciate y'all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, SHO. Thanks for having
Good
us.
to meet
Congratulations
everybody.
again.
Good to see you.
Yes, absolutely.
And thanks for watching, y'all. We'll see you at the show.
Bye.